Have you ever read a perspective-changing, real-life, true love story? My Connie, a new book available now on Amazon, is one such experience. Pradeep Berry, author of My Connie, left his native India to find better prospects in the U.S. When young Pradeep boarded a Lufthansa flight from Delhi to Chicago, on January 15th of 1976, he had nothing but $7 and lots of hope. The author would almost certainly change his mind and fly back home during a stopover at the Frankfurt airport in Germany. But the $7 worth of bills in his pocket wasn't enough to buy a ticket back, and so his fate was sealed. Although young Pradeep had misgivings and felt terribly lonely during his first days in Chicago, a miracle did happen. He met Miss Constance Ann Fuller, a beautiful and intelligent young woman on the historic North Wells Street in Chicago. It was love at first sight. Brewed in an Indian restaurant and sealed in a Chicago court days later. Despite there being no family members present, Connie and Berry were delighted to legalize their union on the 28th of January 1976. According to the author, the chemistry was instant during their first meeting. No other meetings were needed to realize that the couple was destined for each other's arms. And true to that, the marriage would last a lifetime. The book is a moving personal tribute to one man's deep love of his spouse. It's a two-part story. In one part, the author shares the story of a love like no other, shared memories and challenges overcame. It shows that true love is possible. In the second part, the story takes a twist when sadness that's hard to define and understand takes over happiness. While most of the book is a narrative about the author's love for his love, Connie, he also offers a glimpse of his life in India before meeting his lovely spouse. It offers details about an unhappy childhood, the loss of a mother, and a painful atmosphere at home. The author describes meeting his wife, Connie, as something that catapulted his life in the best destiny. Before leaving India, Pradeep graduated from the Sri Ram College of Commerce at the University of Delhi. He was also an Eagle Scout swimming champion and a chartered accountant from the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. While in the U.S., Pradeep had a very successful career in the financial sector. His employer, Heller International, a unit of Fuji Bank, acquired Walter Heller, a finance company in Chicago, and Pradeep was sponsored to Kellogg Graduate School of Management at Northwestern University for the MBA program. Connie studied in Glenbrook High School, Carleton College, the University of Michigan, as well as abroad in Spain and Mexico. She would go on to have a very successful academic career, with PhD and MBA qualifications from Carleton College, University of Michigan, and Harvard. Connie worked as a Spanish, French, and German teaching professor in the U.S., Germany, France, and Spain. She became the star of the family. Yes, this highly educated academic girl met and married Pradeep Berry. Pradeep Berry worked in the country, as well as abroad while on assignments in Europe. Now a retired banker, Mr. Pradeep Berry pours out his love for his wife and their incredible journey together. In thorough, heartfelt language, the author remembers how Connie was a great reader and how he would soon pick up the habit to his own benefit. She would read anything to nourish her academic appetite and recommend interesting topics to Pradeep. The author believes that Connie helped reinforce the reading habit in him. He found himself devouring business sections of all newspapers and professional development, articles on different topics, and anything valuable they could both lay their hands on. This shared reading habit is one of the author's fond memories with his beloved spouse, Constance Berry. In this unique book, Mr. Pradeep also shares Connie's passion for exploring different foods, restaurants, Broadway plays, and symphonies as a way of unwinding from life's hustle and bustle. Pradeep has valuable memories about their travel of the world together. He remembers how Connie used to plan the best ocean and river cruises, how they had wonderful trips both within the USA and other exclusive destinations in the world, how his exposure to travel would have been limited without dear Connie in the picture, and how they traveled many times to exciting and nostalgic places in his native India, including the Palace on Wheels. Mr. Pradeep particularly describes the Palace on Wheels in India as a beautiful destination that he would recommend to everyone. This historical destination was designed for kings during the British Empire in colonial times. He also remembers and recommends the Taj Mahal, one of India's foremost tour destinations. People write books all the time, but sometimes we see a book that stares into our soul and changes our perspective. My Connie is one such book. What makes this book outstanding is the personal touch and sincerity with which it has been written. It shows a love immortal, a miracle. And not only that, Mr. Pradeep shares a wealth of information on life and love, making this text a priceless read not only for married couples but also for young people. The book highlights the challenges they overcame and how they attained a happy marriage for over 40 years. Before Mr. Pradeep abruptly lost the love of his life and had to face a new reality. My Connie offers deep insight into the paradox of life. It explores the happy times shared beautifully by a couple that deeply loved each other, and then there's the sad times. Pradeep reveals the challenges they overcame together when Connie started getting ill. He remembers fondly how he was dedicated to serve her tea and juice in the morning, how life changed when Connie would find it painful walking to the kitchen for breakfast, having to go to her study room with a walker and portable oxygen, and how these trying moments he found his greatest happiness in serving her, making the best breakfast and dinner for her, helping in every way he could. Mr. Pradeep Berry, through this book, shows that we can find true happiness in the smallest acts of service to those whom we love. Acts like taking your spouse to the hospital for that doctor's appointment, offering a cup of tea or water, and being a source of encouragement during trying moments. Quitting his job just wasn't enough for Pradeep Berry to serve his partner. He went above and beyond to be there when he was needed most, and derived happiness by being there for his partner during these challenging moments. The author reckons how Connie remained extremely positive through her illness, and how he summoned his own faith for strength, slept only 3 to 4 hours per night, and made this struggle his own. As fate would have, the unbearably sad phase in this rare union would start on February 28th of 2015. This was the day when Pradeep Berry lost his dearly beloved wife, Connie. He remembers how it all started 8 days before this fateful date. His beloved wife falling on the floor at 4 a.m., him summoning an ambulance and taking her to the emergency room, how those breathtaking moments seemed to stop time in its very tracks, and how he fought bitterly like a ferocious tiger to have his beloved Connie accorded to the most professional medical care that she deserved. It's the author's opinion that the unfortunate death of Connie on February 28th of 2015 was as a result of great medical negligence by Dr. Bruce Brockstein. He wonders why Bruce Brockstein had to call Connie's brother Mike Fuller all the way in Sanibel Island, Florida to discuss details of his wife, when he could just wait 1 hour to let him make the decision to have his darling put in a rehabilitation center. Pradeep painfully explains how medical records show evidence of foul play, and he feels he was betrayed by family members, even worse denied his constitutional rights. Mr. Pradeep remembers that when Connie had a cardiac arrest while at the hospital, CPR was delayed, and later only performed when he ferociously complained. He's also astonished that Connie's siblings did not come to her cremation or any service, but would be there to take money she left for her nephews and siblings. When you lose a loved one, the grief can be devastating. We all react differently as we try to cope. Writing this book, My Connie, was the author's way of coping with this overwhelming grief, as well as being let down by close family members. When Connie died at 1:10 on that fateful February night, Pradeep remembers how he stayed up till the body was washed and taken to the cremation. Connie's brother, Mike Fuller, called him on the following morning to ask about her. Upon learning that she had died, he said neither he nor his wife Suzanne Fuller would make it to pay last respects. They insensitively proceeded to ask questions about Connie's finances, suggesting that the grieving husband should hire an attorney for that purpose. Mike Fuller and his wife even pushed the author not to mention their names in case he filed a medical negligence lawsuit. It was unbelievable that all they wanted was money, and Pradeep was taken aback by their greed and callousness. But he took comfort in the fact that he had been an excellent husband and knew that his beloved wife was in peace. All these revelations make the book such a deep personal read. Although this book lays bare a devoted husband's struggle with losing a soulmate, it emphasizes Connie's strengths and highlights the couple's incredibly happy marriage. The author writes to cherish priceless memories after losing his soulmate through medical negligence. In doing so, Pradeep Berry shares the secrets of their successful and happy marriage with the world, which all the same makes this book a valuable read for both the married and those who are yet to be married. The author quotes many sources to support his feelings about Connie, from renowned Indian thinkers such as Gandhi and Chanakya to Westerners such as Einstein and Ruskin. He lists small items that remind him of Connie, such as articles of clothing, a diary, a makeup kit, and more. He shares his reluctance to use some of the items that so personally remind him of her, and yet he cannot give these things up or stop the flow of memories that they bring. This personally thorough book offers deep insight in what it feels like to struggle with loss of a spouse or family member, and Pradeep Berry empties his heart without worrying about choice of words or grammatical correctness, telling the heartfelt bitter truth. Mr. Pradeep is also the author of another book, The Untold Secret of My Connie, My First and Last Love, Medical Negligence. He wrote this book to expose the medical negligence he believes led to the loss of his beloved Connie. He also expresses how Connie's brother, sister-in-law, and their 4 children never ever came to attend her cremation. In writing these books, the author hopes to let go of the feelings that have so become part of his daily life. On top of that, he hopes to share with the world their unusual love and lessons everyone can learn from it. And in yet another moving show of the unbreakable bond, Pradeep establishes My Connie Foundation on her 2018 birthday to support educational, cancer treatment, and hospice care missions. Join the author as he shares his story of love, loss, and so much more. Get your copy on Amazon.com, AuthorHouse.com, or Barnes & Noble today. Or directly contact Pradeep Berry on FAACS@sbcglobal.net.